Hey, Katie.
Hi, Alyssa. We have a friend today.
Yes, we do for our little bonus episode.
You know what? I really just brought Reannah on specifically so people could appreciate her accent.
I know.
Beautiful Southern Texas accent. Because they're always talking about how much they like our accent, which I think is nothing.
Nothing.
Wait till they talk to Reannah.
They're going to be like, whoa, listen to that accent.
Like, yeah, so good. Okay, so tell us who you are, Reannah. We need the people to hear you.
Okay, so my name is Reannah. I'm the founder and president of the Real-Time app, which is a software that is the ultimate transaction management software for realtors to use to manage their clients, their transactions, and past that. So it's a one-stop shop for realtors.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I want you to give us some background because there are lots of people out there that have products and apps and things for realtors, but you were a realtor. So can you tell us, like, when you got your license, kind of a little overview of your real estate career?
Sure. So I was very young when I started. I got into real estate when I was 19, which I kind of use the same joke over and over again, but I don't recommend it because I was very convinced I was going to starve at some points. But I was around great people and I was in a wonderful office. And so I had so many people pour into me, and it enabled me to have a wonderful career. I went from nothing to, I just kept every opportunity I had, I took, and it was amazing. And so I loved it. I never thought I'd do anything else, but I was frustrated with the software we were offered. I felt like times were changing, and I loved that paper file. I loved that feeling. I slept better at night when I had paper files. And with everything moving and we were so much more on the go, we weren't in the office as much. I missed that feeling, and I never felt fully satisfied with my files because I felt like I had so many different places to go. There was a client list over here. There was a checklist on this spreadsheet. There was the files saved over here. And so I was frustrated on that end. And then I was just as frustrated when it came to the client side. I felt like no matter how many times with my clients, we'd print things out or we'd send them reminders or emails, I kept getting the same phone calls of, oh my gosh, Reannah, I know you told me this, but I have so much going on. I cannot remember. What am I supposed to be doing right now? What day is closing? Where is the survey? And so I thought, golly, like, we can track so much in our life. We have an app, so many cool apps to do so many neat things. And I just felt like if you can track your pizza, I know when Domino's is putting the pepperoni on it. I can watch the whole process, but you can't track a real estate transaction. It was mind blowing to me. And so I thought somebody should do this. Like, I'm sending it out into the universe. And no one did. And then I was like, okay, well then, by golly, I guess I got to do it. So about 2 years ago, I set out on this journey. I knew nothing about tech, but by God's grace, I was placed in the right places. I interviewed people, and I knew that I wanted to bring something to the table that had never been brought before. I wanted it to feel easy. I wanted it to be efficient. I wanted it to make sense to the realtor. And I felt like so many softwares never really fit the working, producing agent. And so that's kind of how this all came about. And we set out, started building it. I worked with a great team, and I took my perspective and my hundreds of transactions I had been through and all that data I was collecting, not realizing that's what it was during that time, and the checklist and all the things. And we combined it into one place. And so I stepped back from real estate, and this is what I do full time. We launched in September, and here we are. So.
So great. It's just so great. I like that you're like, maybe someone will do this. I'll put it out into the universe. And they're like, so nobody did.
Yeah. What is that quote? Like, be the change you wish to see.
Yeah.
I had to do it. So
you had to do it yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
So give us a little, what I want you to help, because it sounds like you were filling a void. So I know there's nothing exactly the same, but what software or services out there would you say are your competitors or most similar, or how can you help our listeners understand what Real-Time will do for them?
Sure. So I would say, there's different places to manage, number one, clients. So you have like Follow Up Boss, you have all the different ones. And then then you have places like DocuSign or Dotloop that you have your documents signed that you store your documents in. And then sometimes people have, they have Dropbox or they have Google Files and they have that there. And then we'll use spreadsheets for checklists. And so I would say, it's a mix of that, or like Wise Agent or different transaction management platforms. But what it does is it takes all that in one spot. And then what makes us different that no one else has is a client facing aspect of it. So we now give the ability to where you can invite your client to download real time after they go under contract, and they can track their real estate transaction. They can watch it from start to finish. They can have all their documents in one place, and then have the ability to see your preferred vendors, which I know y'all just talked about that. And I'm a huge advocate for it. I love it. I think it's so helpful when you move to a new town. And every time your client goes back to that app, your name is brought back to the forefront of their mind. And it's cool because it stays up to date. So if you change something or you get a recommendation from someone else you want to add in, it updates through all your past clients and new clients. So anytime they check real time, it's up to date. So
once you have a client that goes pending under contract, you advise that they download this app so that they can have access to all of their paperwork for the transaction, as well as their own personal checklist, right? You can build your own buyer or seller checklist of things they need to be doing, like shopping insurance and things like that. But then you're saying also in the app, there's a place for you to build your vendor list so that when they need a home inspector or a plumber, they can go in the app to your vendor list and use it. And the reason that they would keep the app after closing is because they want to keep those vendors. They want to have access to, in case they need something for their house. They also want to have access to their files. It's sort of like a file cabinet for their house specifically. So it's like you don't just use it while you're under contract. It's an app that you would want to keep.
Yes.
And it's free for your client to download.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And right now it's a web-based app. So it goes through Safari and then you can download it to your home screen. But we're going to be on the Android and iOS platform, hopefully next month or the very beginning of March, which is a big deal for us. And we're really excited about it. So
yeah, that's awesome. So March of 2025.
Yes. We're very close.
Very close.
Okay. That's very exciting. All right. So kind of walk us through, how does the system know, like, if they're following their transaction, like the pizza in the oven, how does it know when to say, okay, well, what are you doing as an agent that's moving that along? It's not like automatically just doing it on its own. Or are you triggering it? Kind of give me a rundown of that.
So you work your clients and your transactions in real time. And then what real time does is it talks to the client portal the whole time. So you can start by adding a prospect in when they're, put the details of what they're looking for. And then once they find a house, you add that property to them. And then you work the whole thing. It has a checklist that rolls through the phases. And then what it does is it calculates where you are in your checklist to the phase. And then when you move out of option, it's going to ask you, are you out of option? And you move that toggle over, and then the timeline moves with yours. So it mirrors each other. And those checklists there's default settings, but all of it is customizable along with the tasks that you have set for your clients too. So.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And we're going to have a Hustle Humbly checklist. Yes, like what ours is. So if you go get real time and you're like, okay, well, I can use the real time default. I can make my own, or I can just click the Hustle Humbly button. It will have like what our normal task list is.
And what I like about that is that I think so many times when you get a new program or app, the setup takes so long.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not sitting down for 5 hours creating your checklists. You can use the real-time app auto checklist as your guide and maybe spend like 10 to 20 minutes editing it specifically to you and your market and how you run your business. Or you can start from scratch and build one if you want to, or if you already have one on paper that you just want to type into the app. Or you can select the Hustle Humbly template checklist and use that one. Can they edit that one too?
I think,
Like, if they want to tweak it?
Yeah, you'll have
Yep.
to be able to do that.
That's pretty great.
Mhm.
I know, right? So you could start, at least have a good
Yeah.
jumping point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, I got a really neat review the other day from an agent I did not know. She just signed up and she's a newer agent, and she reached out and she was like, oh my goodness, I cannot tell you how great this has been to help me walk through it, because that checklist is a checklist of 11 years that I have like added to and seen so many others. And so I tried to make it the perfect checklist, which of course, like y'all said, we're going to tweak it. But I tried to think of every single thing. And then the $5,000 mistakes I made, or this or that, like I took it, we learned from it, and it's on the checklist, or to try to prevent people from having those mistakes. And I always say, like, hey, it's okay. We all mess up, but if you're not following a checklist, I don't feel sorry for you, because that's what you need. But I think it's so cool for new agents to be able for them to kind of have just an extra help there walking through we have it broke down into 3 phases for each, the buying side and the selling side.
Mm-hmm. So after you close, the client will want to keep the app to have access to everything and refer back, which is also great for keeping them as a future repeat client.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do we do with them on our end of the app once they close?
Yeah. Are you asking like where they go inside of it on your end? Okay.
Yes.
So what happens is they're officially closed, and then they move into your main client list. And so you now have the ability to have one spot. It shows all your past clients. You can create, in a sense, it's a CRM. It's a very simple version. I didn't want to overcomplicate it, but I felt like it did a lot of the things that we all were looking for. And it was all there. So it moves into that. And something that's cool is that their files stay with their name. So if you have Sam Stewart, who bought a house a few years ago with inside of Real Time that you were working, they will, if they're coming up and they're like, hey, I want to sell my house, you have to dig through DocuSign to find the old file, go through it. It's already attached there. And if the agent ever is not subscribing to Real Time, the client doesn't lose their access. I didn't want them to one day open it up and say, oh my gosh, which they have the ability to download directly to their device, but it'll always be there. And so it stores a lot of data.
That's good. So even if you stop using Real Time, they still have access to what was there that belonged to them.
Yep.
Okay. I want you to talk to us a little bit about home anniversaries. When you were selling, what was that? Just kind of talk to us a little bit about your database outreach and like how that's implemented into Real Time as well.
Yes. So when I was 19, my first job was working as an assistant to one of the top agents. And one of my jobs was delivering gifts. And I also took care of her dogs. And they were very important dogs. And so those are my 2 big jobs. And I thought, well, I'll see if I like real estate and, this will be good. So I go and I'm delivering gifts to people, and, I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. It's like a $10 gift or, whatever it was. I wrapped them. Well, I'd walk in to, work or leave it on their front porch, and people would act like you were giving them an Oscar. I mean, some people will cry, and it's like a $10, or, whatever it was. And I was so moved by that. And I thought, wow, it's not the fact of the gift. It's the fact that you remembered them and you were thanking them for your business. And when you look at the stats of the amount of realtors that touch base with their clients after closing, it's so low. And I don't believe it's because we're lazy. I just think that we really need more tools to help us. And we're out there, we survive it, we get through that deal, and then it's like, man, we're right back to it. And we forget sometimes to keep those systems in place. And so when I watched that with her, I was so moved. And so I thought, when I'm a realtor, I'm going to do that. And I did. And I can tell you that my referral base, I think, was huge. And I mean, when I ran my numbers, it was so good. And I I would say it's because of that. And I always thought about them. So you can set it up however you want to, but at least once a year, I had it in index cards and I would have a box with year 1, year 2, and I'd move them through it and I would give them a gift. If that might be a candle or a hand soap, something of value that I didn't think they'd just throw away. I'd sometimes do a sleeve of styrofoam and I'd put my logo on it. And they're all at the lake with their friends, all drinking out of a cup with my logo on it. And I would try to use that to my advantage, but I knew it was something they would use. So I did that. And I tell everybody when I talk to new agents, I'm like, like honor them, like value. I always would say, thank you so much. There's so many realtors out here. Thank you for your business 7 years ago. And I can tell you that so many people would call me and say, Reannah, we need to sell our house. And you were the first one we thought of because you've been giving us gifts every single year. And to me, that's so much more valuable than any billboard I could do was working that client list. So when we developed Real Time, that was very important to me to build that in because I could never find any better system than those dang index cards in those boxes. And so we sat down and I wanted it to be easy because that was kind of and I had assistants and stuff, but still it's like you got to go get the boxes, set them all out. I wanted to click some buttons and see, okay, I have 10 anniversaries this month. And so we developed that. And when you log into Real Time, it's there on your home screen. You can add in all your past clients and it calculates it out for you. You can also add birthdays or any special occasion, but you can look and it says, okay, in the month of January, these are the clients that you have set up as a home anniversary or like I said, whatever it is. And it's easy, one spot, and you can see what you need to do and who you need to touch base with.
That's so great. So you can put in your past clients that didn't use the app, just so you can have all your past clients there with their date on it. As far as using Real Time as a CRM of sorts, what if I have people in my database that I would want to put in there, but they haven't ever closed, like a friend of the family, something like that? Would I use Real Time for that?
Yes. So there's 2 spots. There's a tab that says database and there's a tab that says home anniversaries. So those are 2 separate things. But yes, for your database, you can upload all your people and it will show you if they've been in Real Time. There's a little emblem next to it that has a little R that shows you they were a Real Time client, but you can add all your prospects, whoever it is. And, that's something too that we've got some really cool things growing in that CRM, with us being brand new. This is our 1.0 version, but I've even, I've learned a lot from you guys and hearing what y'all want and don't want. And we just want to continue to grow that CRM and all of Real Time to make it to fit the realtor and be as beneficial to your business.
And not only beneficial, but I just appreciate that you're also striving to keep it very simple.
Yes.
And very clean. There's so many CRMs that every time you log in, there's like 15 alerts of people that you're supposed to call and contact and touch. And
there's a lot of red alerts. I'm in the red. I didn't do any of the tasks I was supposed to do. I was such a loser.
Right. So
I know.
that's nice.
Yeah. And we already have so much anxiety in this industry. Like, I don't need anything else. I need something that's like welcoming, that's like welcome. And that's like, I want to feel the love. And I like seeing, okay, I got this is the commission I have coming in. That makes me feel good. This is my, cause we already have trouble sleeping at night. We don't need 100 extra alerts. So
for example, like I have all my people in a spreadsheet. Is there a way to import them to Real Time?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
That's
we
awesome.
just launched that. So when you go into the database, there is a bulk upload version. And so you can bring all your people in. And then something cool too is there's always an export. So if you want to do a mail out or whatever it may be. And then something I want to point out that is a really big deal to me, and I feel like in this industry, is that all your data that you put in there, we will not sell. So a lot of the big CRM companies that we all know of, they're turning around and they're selling your client list. Honestly, y'all, I didn't know that was happening. Like I was sitting there and like all these software people, I'm like, Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
like you think you're giving protected data to whatever X CRM it is, and then they're just like,
They're like,
thanks.
yeah, we have all these people's names and emails
Mhm.
and addresses, and there you go.
And then they
Yeah.
use it to sell it to other agents too. Like,
I really think that's a big reason why I always stayed with a spreadsheet because I
Mhm.
was so fearful. Like, I own my spreadsheet. It's
Yep.
not going to a third party, it's not going to a website. So it is nice to know that that's something. And you learned that people do that and that it's a regular thing for these CRMs through what you were learning about the tech industry to make this
Yeah.
app. Like, what? This is what they're doing?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
It's those privacy policies like that they say it down there, but you're not going to go read it. You know, we
like they actually say we're taking this information and
Yeah.
we'll do whatever we want with it.
They do. They're selling it to Zillow or whoever, and it's big money. And I'm privately owned. I mean, and I will tell you that Real Time will not do that. I won't stand for it. So
Yeah,
Mhm. We
nice.
believe you.
We
thank you.
believe you.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. What else do you want our listeners to know if they're just like, well, maybe this is for me, maybe this isn't for me? Do you want to give us any other like thoughts about it?
Sure. So, of course, I think that if you're looking for a place to where you want to have everything in one spot with you, your assistant, your TC, you can go in, you can see where they are, what they've checked. I think that this is the perfect fit for you. To where it's one place that everybody lands. And then I think it's such a benefit too whenever you're sitting down with a seller or a buyer and to be able to say, hey guys, like when you work with me, I offer this and that you can download this app and it gives you the ability to track your transaction, which is something that is, you know, to my knowledge right now, no one else offers. And I think when we sit down with our clients, we want to sit there and explain and have, you know, a good presentation of what value we bring to the table. And I think that's where the industry's going. Transparency is big. And sometimes real estate is a little bit like the Old West, like it's a little behind. And I feel like in this way it is. And so I think that's such a big point on with advertising, with your social media. I think people can really promote themselves that way of kind of standing out. And if you use Real Time, I just want everybody to know we want to hear your feedback. Like, I want to hear the bad. I want to hear the good, but the bad is important to me. And you're not hurting my feelings. But our kind of mission here is to build a product that fits you guys. And so I'm one of y'all. I've been one of y'all. And so if you go in and you're like, I hated that, please email the support at therealtimeapp.com. Because it comes to me and along with the other team, but they'll always come to me because I want to know. And I'm like, thank you so much. And we're working and, you know, we've got such cool things on the horizon for Real Time. We're growing at a really rapid pace and we're fixing to be able to really grow our back end team and launch the team lead profile and the TC assistant profile. And so anyways, it's so valuable to me. And I just want y'all to know the whole industry is that, you know, with Real Time, that's our mission. So
what I want to say too, what I loved about it is, you know, we love your accent. And then I love how you say the support comes to you. It's not like it's going to some outsourcer somewhere out of the country. But also, if you go to the website for Real Time, all the little tutorials, because Katie and I went and played on it and we had met you for lunch. So we had met you in person and then we go to your website and we're watching your videos and we're like, it's her. It's voice making these videos. Like you didn't even have a robot doing the talking for you. Like it just feels so relatable and helpful. So I also think if you're someone on the fence, there are so many good like videos on the website introducing it, just showing the general setup of what it looks like. So you can see it.
What is the trial setup right now? Like how you can do a little trial right now?
You can. It's a 7-day free trial and then it's just per month after that. And yep. So
Perfect.
And we have a code, but we'll put it in the show notes in the event that the code changes in the future. So that we'll just update it, as needed. But there's a little discount code for anyone that wants to go from the show. I think it's good. It's more like we hired our friend Reannah to help us TC instead of we hired a machine to help us TC.
No, it's almost like if you ever make the app talk like Waze or Maps or something, it would have to be your voice.
Well,
like,
something.
It's like, hey y'all,
just letting you know you got some anniversaries this week.
Yep.
Forget
Well, it's funny because like when this whole thing started, that I was like, oh great, I don't really like being in front of the camera. Now I'm getting way more used to it. But and somebody was like, no. You have to you got to do it. Like you got to be the brand. Nobody else. It's bots. It's robots. Like it's relatable if it's you. And so I was like, all right. Well, now now it's like I'm kind of used to it. So
because there's plenty of things I can buy that are machine run or AI or it's more for every day, and it feels like it's getting further and further from you providing service to your clients in a way that you're even there, right? Like I don't want to insert another machine, but I like the idea of inserting this where it's like it's just like taking our email templates to the next level. Like I was giving you all of these things in a certain order. Now, instead of you being like at midnight, I can't sleep, I wish I knew what was happening right now, you could just go to that and be like, this is where we're at.
Well, and the client is not only opening the app to watch the pizza being made, it's like they're opening the app and it's saying, you are in your due diligence period. This is your homework. Your agent is doing their homework, but have you shopped insurance yet? You gotten your loan documents to your lender yet? Like it provides them guidance and direction. And as long as their checklist is shut off, it's checked off. They're never wondering, what am I supposed to be doing now?
Yeah. And I recently sold my house and bought another house, and y'all probably have been through this, but we've done it hundreds and hundreds of times. I was sitting there, I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing right now? From a different, and I just thought, man, it's, and especially if you have things going on or you're working a lot during that time, it's crazy. It's so hectic. And, if you throw kids in the mix or family, it's like your world is so turned upside down. And so I think it brings so much peace to the client, and it brings peace to the realtor to have one spot. So that's what we're heading towards. So
I love it. Okay. Where can people find the app? Where do they need to go?
So you go to the realtimeapp.com and you'll sign up. So the realtor will always have a portal, and then you sign up on your phone through Safari and you can download it to your home screen. So you actually just go to that little square at the bottom. It's going to say add to home screen if you have an iPhone. So that it has the ability to work on your computer and through your phone. And then for the client, you will, once you go under contract, there's a little button that says invite client, and it sends them an invitation with an email where they can sign into their portal. So again, it's web-based, so they can go back to the website and it has like a little top thing that says client sign in, agent sign in, or they can save it to their home screen. So,
and then after the apps are out this year, they'll be able to get downloaded in the App Store, right?
Yep. The realtor will invite them and it'll connect the two and they'll download it directly from there. Yep.
And you can customize that with like a picture of their house and things like that. So when they log in, it's a picture of like the house they're buying.
Yep. Yeah. You can upload that, and all the verbiage is able to be customized as well. That was very important to me because, even like us talking, it's so different in West Texas than, real estate is. Y'all call it a due diligence. We call it an option. So I wanted the timelines and the verbiage to all be able to fit you in that area. So just from the very beginning to the end, it comes with default settings, but it can all be changed.
Awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is wonderful.
So the website is therealtimeapp.com.
Yep.
Great.
Okay, thank you so much.
This is so great.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it. So,
of course. Awesome.